Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, January 22nd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will still be moving around and changing. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol RGTI. Very nice mover today. And now we have some very well-defined levels moving forward. Real quick dynamic for those of you that watched the video from last week, talked about that area as a resistance, and you can see opening 30 minutes here. Price came up here, broke through it, and then that really opened up the gates of momentum until the price got up to our first key level to watch. Now moving forward, that pink line there, which on my chart denotes the very well-known, the very famous 200 period moving average, and you can see that that is just right where the price is currently struggling right below. Now, to be fair, the price is knocking on the door as I speak right now. So, a breakout is still not guaranteed, but certainly more than plausible. So keep an eye on that dynamic moving forward. And then let me just get rid of those lines on there. In the event the price does break through that pink line, next key area of resistance to watch would then be up here right around the $16.70 mark. So that's not to say that if the price breaks through there, it's going to shoot straight up there. My point is just looking back at the history of the chart, you can see that there's quite a bit of opening right here. So there's some room for the price to run and build some momentum. So definitely keep a close eye on that. But again, with any sort of break of that pink line there at 1360, next key area of resistance up there around 1675. As far as levels of support are concerned, preferably speaking, you want to see the price continue to respect that purple line there, which it did a good job of there. So any sort of pullback, keep it on that purple line again, the 50 period moving average. But all in all, knocking on the door of that breakout area. Can it get the break? We'll see what happens. Next one here, ticker symbol GCTK, and overall the chart continues to put in higher highs and higher lows. Now there's a little bit of perspective that goes into it. If you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 3 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, things are not looking so good. But assuming you care about the bigger picture, like I said, higher highs and higher lows, and that's what it's all about. And in my mind, I think this is an area here that a lot of people are now going to be watching moving forward. That trend line right there, let me change that to green for support. And that's going to be an area where when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some nice predictable movement. So that's to say that no guarantees, but if the price were to come down there, is it logical to think that the price could bounce off that area? Of course it is. I mean, it's already happened a few times before. Again, does not mean it's for sure going to happen again, but it just goes back to that question of, is it at least a valid, logical thought to have? So absolutely. And then just from an overall health perspective, hey Clay, are the bulls still healthy? Is this still a healthy move? Well, the question becomes, is the price still above that green line there? And as long as it is, then yeah, you still got to give the advantage to the bulls. In terms of areas of resistance, key level to watch now moving forward, going to be right here around the 14-cent mark. If you go back through the history of things, you can see, generally speaking, this was a problem area. And then once again, rejected the price right there. So in any sort of curl back upwards, that'll be the main question mark. Can the price break through 14? We'll see what happens. But overall, higher highs and higher lows, that's what you want to see. Next one, USEG, and again, one of these that it's all about perspective, so pretty tricky to talk about from my point of view from a presentation standpoint, because yeah, those you day trader scalpers that bought right there and wanting to sell within 10 minutes, not looking good at all for you as there has been this big pullback here. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. The price has been pulling back. You can't deny that at all. With all that being said, if you care about the bigger picture, well, part of that is acknowledging the fact, sure, yeah, Clay, fair enough, the price has pulled back. But because I care about the bigger picture, what was happening before this pullback? And those people would say, well, the price was here, and then it exploded all the way up here, which has now allowed a bull flag pattern to be drawn. So for some people, they're looking at a bull flag pattern. Again, if you're some sort of day trader scalper and you bought right there, yeah, you don't care about this bull flag. But like I said, from a presentation standpoint, there's multiple angles to look at it. But also, if you're just somebody that likes to play bull flags and maybe you're not even in this one yet, then I definitely keep an eye on it. So if you like this price range down below $10, you like bull flags, here you go. Next one, DJT, and overall rough move on this one as it had a gap down and then the price broke down through that pink line there, the 200 period moving average, which opened up even more floodgates. Now to be fair, the price has tried to recover, but this is just a classic example of when areas of support are broken, they tend to act as resistance. So again, that pink line was a support, it was broken, price came up here and didn't hit it exactly, but certainly got very close before getting rejected back down. So that's just a long way of saying that the initial area of resistance to watch moving forward is going to be that pink line there, 200 period moving average right now valued at, let's just call it the $37 mark. So keep an eye on that. But even if the price were to break through there, again, that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't get overly excited about it because then you're going to have that purple line up there, the 50-period moving average, you know, keyword being moving. So as that line continues to move downwards, it's going to get more and more relevant and potentially, produce another area of resistance. But one step at a time, let's first just see if the price can even break above that pink line there. In terms of areas of support, no need to overcomplicate this. Literally just a question of where did the bleeding finally stop today after the gap down and after that opening 30 minutes. That was right there at about $34.40. So again, no fancy reasoning or logic there. Just where did the bleeding stop? And 34.40 was where the buyer stepped up enough to bounce. So if the price comes down here, could it bounce again? Yeah, that's certainly a valid thought process. No guarantee, so risk management matters. But yeah, maybe you get some sort of double bottom off that area. Next one, NVDA, and the nice movement continues. I've talked about that pink line quite a bit on some of these other ones being a key area of resistance. And here we have a classic example of that pink line there. Previously acting as resistance, but you can see today got the break. Classic example now of that resistance then turning into support. And then late day today got the move up through there. So very good stuff there from just a kind of an overall educational standpoint. But now moving forward in terms of key levels to watch, initial level to watch very closely now going to be right up there at the 140, 190 mark. And then in the very near term, and I'm definitely drawing a pretty tight, small little pattern here. But nonetheless, it exists. So you may not care about this pattern per se, depending on your strategy, but you do have this little bottom area of support right there. So you can see this little wedge formation that's forming. So within the context of today, we have this resistance, we have this support, we have the nice upwards move here for you golfers out there trying to make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. Not just because it's a bullish pattern doesn't mean for sure guaranteed it's going to go upwards. But yeah, certainly a nice little pattern where I don't think it would catch anybody off guard or shock anybody if the price did decide to come up here, break through there, and then that break created that much more buying pressure. So if you like bull pennants, you like very well-known stocks such as NVIDIA, keep an eye on it. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. Next one, ASST, and here we have an interesting scenario where the price was all over the place, had the gap up, had a huge move, had a very nasty drop, and these drops always get sketchy because at some point you have to start to question, was this just a gap and trap? Was this just a pump and dump? But in this situation, it is starting to level out. Now, don't get me wrong, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because the price has gone sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is headed back up. But is it at least a little bit more plausible? Is it a rational thought to have right now that maybe just maybe this pullback is over and maybe just maybe this thing wants to curl back upwards? That's certainly a plausible thought to have. So on that note, the key area of support now moving forward is just going to be the bottom part of this sideways area, which sits right there at, we'll call the 83 cent mark. So continue to watch 83. Now, if 83 cents is broken, that's a pretty scary thing because looking back here, you can see there just is nothingness. It's just one big open space, which means the price could certainly accelerate, pick up more downside pressure until the bulls bring it down to, until the bears bring it down to where the bulls may be hanging out down around these moving averages, which you now know, pink line 200 period moving average and purple line 50 period moving average. But as of now, it's still going sideways. It's still respecting that 83 cent mark. So we'll see what happens and see if it can curl back upwards over the next couple of days. Next one here, SOUN, and this will mean more to those of you that have watched past videos, but if you have, hopefully you remember me talking about that resistance line right there, and you can see actually opening 30 minutes, price came up, couldn't quite get through it, but then right here, price moved up, second attempt, and finally got the break of it, and now as I speak, not totally at highs, but it is continuing to have a very, very nice afternoon, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those lines as they've served their purpose for now. And let's just map out where some of these next potential battlegrounds are at. There we go. So the next key overarching level that stands out to me, and I think a lot of other people, is going to be right up here around $17.10 for a couple reasons. Number one, it's just the high from over here, almost kind of the where there's after the gap down, that's as high as it could go. But you also have the pink line here, 200 per moving average, coming into play. Remember, that's a moving average, so that line will continue to move downwards. So there's a very real chance that sometime over the next couple of days, that pink line in this area are going to be basically valued at the same thing, which still doesn't mean that the price can't break through it, but I would expect it to be a pretty stubborn area of resistance if the price were to continue to grind upwards. But any way you look at it, moving forward, 1710, and then that 200 period moving average, definitely going to the main areas of resistance. As far as levels of support are concerned, in my opinion, the most straightforward way to gauge this one now is using that purple line there, 50 period, simple moving average. Again, As it moves higher, it's basically a trend line that's drawing itself for you. So as long as the price stays above the trend line, then overall that implies the price is putting in higher lows, and higher lows imply the bulls are in full health. Because nothing can go straight up. Pullbacks happen, but as long as pullbacks are building higher lows, again, via staying above that purple line, that implies that the overall movement is still plenty healthy. But very impressive movement today. Very nice late day breakout. So we'll see if this can continue to grind up around into the 17s. Next one, QBTS, and we've had this trend line here, and we've been monitoring it. And as of right now, the price is actually above here, but I'm still going to consider that an area of resistance. Why? Well, if we go back to the history of things, we can see this is not the first time the price has been up above the resistance. Last time it was a fake break, and down the price went. But that is not to say that it's for sure going to happen again. But in my mind, it's a very valid question to throw out there. Is history going to repeat itself? Is this going to be a fake breakdown, or excuse me, a fake breakout of that area? So like I said, keep a very close eye on that red line, and the goal, assuming you're bullish moving forward, is you want to see the price stay up above that line there, because that would imply that as long as the price is above that red line, not only has a breakout occurred, but the breakout is maintaining itself. So keep an eye on that dynamic right there. But I do want to offer up now a secondary area of resistance, which is based on this trend line right here. So let me just change up the... There we go. So keep an eye on that too. Now, if the price comes up there and, breaks up through there and stays above there, at that point, yeah, I would say that trend line has officially been broken. But until the price can at least break up through there, like I said, I'm sketchy on just the true health of this breakout due to the previous history of the chart. But we'll see what the next couple of days reveal. Next one here, ticker symbol EONR, and one of these that's looking very, very rough. With that being said, though, it is at an interesting level now. So for those of you that like to play these pullbacks in situations where things are looking pretty ugly, but then you get to play the, well, maybe just maybe this pullback is done. Well, then we have that situation here. If you go back to the history of things, you can see this was a former area of resistance right there. So when levels of resistance are broken, you ideally want to see them act as support, which is exactly what happened during the opening 30 minutes. And then with the pullback here, you can see actually bounce off it once again. False breakdown right there of it, which actually gave a hammer candle. But point here being is the price is now hovering around that area. So while that doesn't guarantee anything, it does make it very valid to say, you know what? I think the price is going to bounce upwards. Now, if it doesn't, that's why stop losses matter. But from a risk versus reward scenario, you can now be looking to structure yourself a very nice situation where if you're wrong and the price continues on down, very minimal risk. But if you're right, and it's not like you even need a massive bounce, but any sort of respectable bounce, you could be looking at a whole lot more reward relative to what was being risked in the first place. But yes, this all assumes that you can be a disciplined trader. But I mean, if you can't be, you shouldn't even be trading, but that's a whole nother video. But anyways, keep an eye on this if you like this price range, if you like these pullbacks, and you can honor and be a disciplined trader. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and very brutal opening 30 minutes right here. I mean, there was actually a slight gap up and then just really gave back a whole lot. Now, to be fair, spent the rest of the day essentially in this upwards channel. But going back to the whole idea of, yeah, that's good, but if you care about the bigger picture, part of that is saying, I mean, yeah, it's been going up, but where was it before this upwards channel? And you would say, well, the price was up there before falling all the way down here, which is now giving me the ability to draw a bear flag pattern. Now, as I mentioned earlier, just because something's in a bullish pattern doesn't mean it's going to go upwards. Same is true here. Just because something's in a bearish pattern does not mean it's going to go down. But would it be a mind-blowing, would it be just a shocking event if all of a sudden the price made one of these maneuvers? No, that would just be a technical bear flag breakdown. So again, yes, this bounce is good, but also you want to be a little skeptical because at the core, it's just simply created that bear flag pattern. So I'll get rid of that level and we'll just keep an eye on that. So really that's the most straightforward way to look at this one right now in Tesla. Is Tesla on the 30-minute time frame has a bearish pattern in play, and again, that pattern being the bear flag. I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a moment, but again, for you stock traders out there, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used, then like I said, later on this week, I'll be doing the class Thursday, January 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so definitely get signed up, and I hope to see you there. And also, if you appreciate these top 10 videos and you're looking for a super easy and free way to support the channel, make sure you hit that like button and consider hitting that subscribe button. So thanks for watching. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. Now, one quick clarification here. I am on the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 4 hours as opposed to 30 minutes. And that's because Bitcoin is open 24/7. So in order for this video and analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible, by using a long time frame and then walking you through some questions, that'll allow me to keep this relevant for as long as possible. So overall, Bitcoin has been doing fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level because really I think there's a much, no pun intended, simpler way to gauge all this moving forward. So question number one, let's just say you're watching this video 20 hours after I upload it. But question number one is this: where is the price relative to that purple line there, which you now know is the 50-period moving average? As long as you're saying the price is above that area, then everything is still perfectly fine because that implies that the price is still respecting it as it's done and it's still building higher lows. Now, yeah, preferably speaking, nobody wants to see the price actually come down here. But again, as long as you're saying the price is above that area, nothing to worry about at all. Now, maybe you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below that purple line. All right, next question. Where's the price at relative to the pink line there, 200-period moving average? Now, if somehow you're saying the price is down below there, again, I'm not saying Bitcoin's destroyed, but that would be something that's a little bit more worrisome. Now, I'd be surprised if you're answering it in that way, but just in case you are, that would not be the best of things. In terms of areas of resistance, so in other words, if you're saying, well, yeah, Clay, the price is still above that purple line. Okay, well, where's the price at relative to the 109,000 mark? And if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is above 109,000, that's a very, very good situation. How good of a situation? Well, how far above 109,000 is it? Because that would just be putting it at new highs, essentially. And assuming you're bullish, that is a good thing. But yeah, all in all, Bitcoin looking pretty healthy. And as I invite the stock traders, I want to invite you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely get signed up for this free class because what you'll learn about can and certainly should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin. So like I said, get signed up. It'll be later this week, Thursday, January 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you appreciate these videos and you're looking for a way to support the channel, then please hit that like button and really highly consider hitting that subscribe button because those little things do help out. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.